Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel, and instead of coffee today, I did make a bit of mint tea. It is a little bit later in the evening, so sometimes I do try to just have some tea after my workout. However, we are talking about books, and I think hopefully tomorrow we'll have the rain, but I will be traveling to go see my mom and am trying to get my recordings done today so I can be covered through the weekend. And today's first book is Return of the Martial Messiah by ToraARK, and that is ToraARK. And so again, I always try to put the cover over here so everyone can kind of see what I see when I request these books from NetGalley. And so I have forgotten about my love of literary RPGs. And that is what this book is. I had so much fun with this particular book, and I flew through the audiobook within about probably 2.5 days. It was around 13 or 14 hours, but it's like, in my personal thought, like listening to someone like go on an adventure in all of the best ways. It's in my brain, I'm able to almost picture it like playing D&D or playing a video game and experiencing this world with this character. And so that's one of the reasons I really kind of like literary RPGs or LitRPG. It just seems to grab me in a lot of the best ways. Now, some people may not like when it kind of breaks down all the stat blocks and things like that in audio form. However, I really feel like it helps you stay on the edge with the character as they go through their obstacles or try to overcome or complete quests, I guess you could say. So let me dive into the summary real quick, and then we will go from there. Strap in for a high-stakes, edge-of-your-seat adventure that will leave you thirsty for more. And certainly I am already dying for book 2. The year is 2493. The AI wars have come and gone. And I'm not going to read, just by the way, I'm not going to read the whole summary because it is quite lengthy, but I'm actually getting this particular summary from Royal Road, and it looks as though ToraARK also has maybe 2 or 3 other books available as well. So just kind of giving that little bit of information real quick, because a lot of times I do go on Goodreads, but I think I was the first person to actually review this on Goodreads, and I was so excited. That's the first time that's ever happened. When AI infected the internet, 300 years of industrial and technological advances were eradicated overnight. After untold sacrifice, humanity won. Barely. Victory was only possible thanks to the hidden marshals revealing themselves and stepping onto the stage of history. They were named Old Monsters, immortal superhumans with impossible strength and speed, capable of dismantling entire armies with their bare hands. Thus began the gold rush of the 25th century, the rush to fitness, to unimaginable power, displayed by the old monsters. Wars were abolished, replaced by duels. Ancient medicines were rediscovered and improved, enhancing lifespans and leading to an unprecedented boom in population across the globe. In the grand new era, a technology was perfected. It was supposed to be the AI's greatest weapon and last-ditch attempt to overthrow humanity. Quantum computing. Twisted by the hands of its creators and enemies, the quantum computers birthed an unexpected advancement that once more shook the foundations of civilization. They called it time dilation. And so I'm going to kind of pause there because I think that's a good way to give the best backstory of everything that kind of happens prior to when this book actually starts taking place. Our main character, Rain, has been part of this kind of enslavement in this AI, what could be called like an AI RPG, role playing game. And he has been part of it, but again, he's been enslaved by a corporation that has pretty much bought his own ownership of himself. And they did that through just manipulation and corruption. Like, they had a contract on him. You will work for X amount of years for us in servitude in order to live. And so that's where this book takes place. So all of this has kind of happened, and now it's a crazy trope. It's a trope that I'm not frequently a fan of, but it's the waking up trope. At the beginning of this book, and I keep brushing these papers, so let me move them. There. I keep brushing it with my sleeve. But at the beginning of this book, Rain wakes up, and he kind of has a out of body sort of moment, because like this time dilation, it in game, when you spend 1 hour of in real life IRL time in game, you get 3 hours in game. So for Rain, he feels as though he has been in game for 30-ish years. However, it's been supposed to be 10 years for him that he has been in game. Here's the kicker that I love, because this is not a spoiler. Rain wakes up and he's actually 10 years in the past before this AI game comes out, with all of his memories of everything he has just experienced for in-game 30 years. And so now he has the ability to plan and prepare, and he has honed his craft of playing this game, of living in this virtual world for 30 years. So he knows what to do. He's read all of the boards. He's like read all the comments, talked about everything with various people in his previous life, but now he wakes up and he gets the opportunity to do it all differently. And this for us is our first experience with it, but for Rain, that's how he knows what to do and what not to do. So it's, in a way, it's pretty good, because the character himself has already kind of experienced a lot of it, but again, he's doing things different this time. He's taking chances he didn't take. He's preparing in ways he didn't prepare previously, both in real life and and in the AI world, in the virtual world. And he's aware of this time dilation. He's aware of everything that could go wrong should he prepare incorrectly and not be able to prevent Krongate from causing a lot of humanity to sign these lifelong contracts with them, so they do not rise to power. And honestly, the adventure was so great. If you are a fan at all of Sword Art Online, then that's an anime, by the way, if you don't know. But if you are a fan of SAO, then you will be aware of kind of a general thought of what I'm talking about, except we don't have this going back in time in order to fix the future. Sword Art Online is where a lot of humanity gets trapped in a virtual world, and everything becomes very, very real. But this is not that. This has some small little elements that I feel like give a nod to that. But this is what, so it says, can you expect to find in Martial Messiah? And tension. ToraARK's overachieving goal for Martial Messiah was to create a VR MMO. That is a virtual reality something online, I think. I have played, or I know a lot of my friends have played like MMORPGs, and it's like what is the big one? Warcraft? World of Warcraft? Anyway, it's like big, massive, like open worlds, lots of players running around doing things, and I'm blanking on what it means. A VR MMO that overcame the largest pitfalls of its genre. Tension. Readers beware, this is not a story you can relax comfortably in the back of your seat. So I do feel like there were points I did some painting on like this big paint by number that I have on my counter, and I was listening to it as I was painting, and I was really getting into the story. So if that sounds like something up your alley, then maybe you'll get into the story with Rain and his character that he plays while he's in the world. Now it does say Martial Messiah contains complex lit RPG and magic systems, a logical living world where every action has rippling consequences that create a deep sense of immersion. Minimal contrived plot armor BS and an MC main character who isn't afraid of the fairer sex or engaging in meaningful relationships. And it's very interesting that it says that because there's one girl that he knows in real life that apparently he knew her in game. And now he has the chance to meet her all over again, but he kind of comes off as a little weird to her because he keeps kind of talking to her like he knows her, but really they've really only just met in her perspective. But another kind of relationship that is mending based on this kind of redo of life is one with his brother, and that's an in real life brother. So it is very important when you read this book and listen to this book, because I do recommend listening to it. I just feel as though it was very well done and very engaging for me. But you have your in real life story, what we currently live, and they have their virtual reality sort of life that takes up more of their time because the time dilation, 1 hour is 3 hours over there, so 1 day in real life is 3 days over there. You get more time in game. So he really is working to try to become a better version of himself than he was the first time around. And I just really liked it. So without any spoilers, and I don't know if there's just a ton of way to give spoilers when it's an RPG game, a lit RPG. I will just say that when he wakes up 10 years in the past, with 2 days before the game is actually releasing, he instantly sells everything he owns in order to get a better headset, to rent a room for a few days to play, and then to kind of start figuring out what his game plan is going to be. He actually has these 2 days to prepare before this game releases, before any of the rest of the world knows how this game is going to look or feel or anything. He actually knows how that's going to work and all the tips and tricks and hints of what to do to even put himself on a better foot at the beginning. So he's able to like bypass the tutorial and just generically run through a character creation and things like that if you've played any sort of like RPG game, then you may know about the character creation part. I think Fallout 4 is one that just pops in my head right now, where you're kind of standing in front of a mirror kind of crafting, but I think like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that will also do the same. So character creation, all that, he just skips past it because he already knows what he's doing, and he knows something else will happen in the future that will change that anyway. He also starts working out in real life because the more physically fit his body is in real life, then the better his character actually responds in game. Apparently there's a correlation between your physical fitness and being that martial. And I don't know, in my mind, and just based on the cover of this book, I guess I kind of pictured it like really badass knight slash samurai slash martial artist. Like, I kind of had this feeling that martials were these really well trained, well defined, very skilled fighters. And maybe that is something that's more taught, but it does sound like a lot of it comes innately as well in this particular world. So he's training his real life body in the times that he's logged out in order to better help his help himself in game, because the game does it tracks your heart rate and your mental health and how you do various things. And if you overdo it in game, get too stressed out of things like that, then sometimes it can log you out in order for you to calm down or what have you, not have a panic attack or not have your heart explode or what have you in real life. Anyway, I mean, as soon as I finished this book, I was instantly trying to see if and when the next book in this series was coming out. I do see, at least in one location, that this is book 1. So very happy to say that we should be getting more in this series. However, I don't know when, and I can only tell you that we do leave on a cliffhanger, and I think that's why I was so excited, because I was like, there's no way we can finish everything in this one book, and we didn't. But we got to a really good point, but it makes me want more. It also made me go on Audible, which is just one of the listening apps that I use, and find a couple of other literary RPGs that were available as well. I have a few already on my phone that I had just kind of forgotten I had, but also some of them were free on Audible as well. So I don't know if it's because I have an Audible account, but I was able to get a couple of additional lit RPGs for free without using credits. So that's also something that might be available as well. One final thing I do want to mention is that there is a possibility that this book is available on Royal Road. I'm not even logged into it, but I just see that the chapters are below. And when I click on it, let's just see, I'm able to actually read it. So there you go. So Royal Road seems to have this book available, Return of the Martial Messiah by ToraARK. I'm going to create an account on Royal Road and give them 5 stars and leave them a comment, because I was really impressed and had a great time. And I know I've said that, but I think I want to donate to them just because they entertained me so much, and it does seem as though they're more of an indie writer. And I'm assuming ToraARK is also more of a pen name than anything else, which is totally fine. I think writers should be able to maintain a level of anonymity if they want to. But with all of that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you will consider looking into this genre if you have not before. It does read differently than other books. So if you like adventure books, this is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit more video game style in a book. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.